I regret being a slut. I'm grateful for the ability to control my reproductive cycle and make my own money. But that freedom has come at a price. The dark side of the sexual revolution is that even though it liberated women, unyoking sex from the consequences has primarily benefited men. But if I'm honest with myself, of the dozens of men I've been with, at least the ones I remember, I can only think of a handful I don't regret. The rest I would put in the category of casual, which I would define as sex that is either meaningless or mediocre or both. If I get really honest with myself, I'd say most of these usually drunken encounters left me feeling empty and demoralized and worthless. I wouldn't have said that at the time, though. At the time, I would have told you I was liberated, even while I tried to drink away the sick feeling of rejection while my most recent hookup didn't call me back. At the time, I would have said one-night stands made me feel emboldened. But in reality, I was using sex like a drug, trying unsuccessfully to fill a hole inside me with men. Pun intended. I know regretting most of my sexual encounters is not something a sex-positive feminist who used to write a column for Playboy is supposed to admit. And for years, I didn't. Let me be clear. Being a slut and sleeping with a lot of men is not the only behavior I regret. Even more damaging was what I told myself in order to justify the fact that I was disposable to these men. I told myself I didn't care. I didn't care when a man ghosted me. I didn't care when he left in the middle of the night or hinted that he wanted me to leave. The walks of shame, the blackouts, the anxiety. The lie I told myself for decades was, I'm not in pain, I'm empowered. I knew it would be hard to read this. I lost my virginity at 17 to my boss at a restaurant where I worked. And a year later, I experienced my first sexual trauma. I felt damaged and dirty, and I blame myself. Everyone responds differently to these situations. I dealt with the overwhelming shame by becoming hypersexual and promiscuous. The culture was right there to pick me up and dust me off. I doubled down on being a proud slut and internalized the biggest and most damaging lie, that loveless sex is empowering. I basked in the girl power glow of that delusion for decades, weaponizing my sexuality while convincing myself I was full of the divine feminine. I was full of shit. I told myself that because I could seduce man, I was powerful. But as Perry says in her book, women can all too easily fail to recognize that being desired is not the same thing as being held in high esteem. Deep down inside, I knew that to be the case. But as a defense mechanism, I created a man-eater persona. My mantras were rigid. You can either have a career or a relationship, but you can't have both. Intimacy is creepy. Motherhood and children are a trap. Sex is only about power. Another set of lies built on trauma. When a man I slept with had the courtesy to reach out, I mistook relief for happiness, rewiring my brain to be grateful for the bare minimum. The saddest realization is how low I set the bar. A lifetime of allowing myself to be the other woman, taken for granted or treated like a doormat under the false pretense of being empowered, came to head one night with the arrival of a text message from an on-again, off-again lover. "Good night, baby. I love you," it said, quickly followed by "wrong person." Rock bottom doesn't always look like losing everything or ending up in jail. I wanted to be able to have meaningless sex like a guy, but it didn't work. Today's youth are fed an even more dangerous lie than the one that was fed about loveless sex. I was told sex doesn't matter. They're being told biology doesn't matter. This is a tragedy. I regret being a slut. I regret it because I regret that those men can say they slept with me. As Gen X women in particular really relate to this, and it's like they're stumbling back from a war being like, go back. It was a lie. It's a trap. It just seems like women who have been sold this kind of millennials too, in particular, the like people who grew up with Sex in the City and this idea that we can just have sex with men consequence free and that it doesn't somehow damage our soul. A lot of women have said that they identify with this. The problem with so much of this stuff is that you keep doing damage to yourself. At least I did. In my attempt to keep proving to myself that sex was empowering, that I could have sex like a man, I kept damaging myself, damaging my spirit and soul in ways that I didn't really fully comprehend at the time. I was too young and I was too high or drunk in many instances. And you can see when I read the piece, it's still painful because I wish I knew better. And I guess part of the reason that I wrote this piece is for my daughter. I want her to know better. And for all the young women out there, you don't have to play that game. If you feel in your heart, like, I don't think I can have sex with someone and not get attached, and I don't know the person, and I feel like it's very intimate. You're right. That's.
Oh, wait. This woman here broke it all down. She wrote a letter detailing the things that she been through, how she felt, and all that stuff. I know she didn't mention Kevin Samuels, but Kevin Samuels was right again. Look, see, these are things we try to tell women that's going to happen to you because it happens to us guys. See, y'all don't think it does. Having sex with us guys, having sex with a whole lot of women, it ruins us too. So we're telling y'all women don't do it because it ruins y'all even worse. But of course, when a guy tells you something, you don't want to listen. You want to fight and argue back. So what you're going to do is try to go out there and prove him wrong. That's what y'all do. Then later on in your life, you realize, damn, I fucked up. Why didn't I listen? Why did I believe all this feminist stuff? It's okay to have sex with as many guys as you want. No, it's not, because it's damaging to a woman's body way more than to a man's body. It damages a woman's soul more than it damages a man's soul. Y'all bodies and brains are wired totally different from us. So I'm wondering, why in the hell y'all trying to do stuff that men do? It makes no sense. None. Just do the things that you are naturally supposed to do. Men suffer a lot of consequences with having a lot of sex. You get these women out here these days, you get these women out here that try to blast us to the whole world. You know, we can have kids, so that's child support, and that ruins us right there. Especially depending on what kind of career choice he has. What else? Of course, there's diseases out there. Then, of course, the type of woman that he might get with. I mean, I just don't get it, ladies. Y'all just can't. Okay, put it like this here. I'm just going to make this plain and simple. You wouldn't want a man acting like a woman, doing the things that a woman do. So why in the hell are we supposed to accept y'all doing the things that men do? It makes no sense. But I'm going to cut this short, and I'm just going to say, at least she's honest and came out and admitted that she messed up. A lot of women don't want to do that. And it's sad that a lot of women realize it when they get much older. So hopefully this does help some people. But hey, we'll all see what happens one day.